Hello, Mzansi. Welcome to it as the 2024-25 campaign is very much at the business end of the campaign as we approach the final stretch in England, in Germany, and right here in Mzansi. It's GameON, brought to you by Hollywoodbets. I am Sisu Mabena, joined by, well, a legend from a goal-scoring point of view a long time ago. That, of course, is Shane McGregor. Shane, let's talk about it. Goals important at this time of the season, especially for Arsenal. In the derby against Fulham, they are looking to keep things interesting going into April and May. Well, they won 2-1.
Yeah, good to be here, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah, big win. You know, they had to win, put the pressure on. Any win's a win, as long as they win. You know, that's the main thing. You know, 2-1, good victory.
Now, international break once again is a big talking point. It's always interesting that in the start of the season, some coaches complain you play a month or so, and then there's the international break that starts. And how do you feel about it at this stage of the season, in the last couple of months, when things are so intense from a club point of view?
Well, from a club point of view, from team point of view, it depends on who you are and where you are.
Yeah.
Liverpool needed it to happen because obviously they had gone through a few defeats. So the break came at a very good time. For Arsenal,
even at this time of the season?
Even this time of the season.
Okay.
For Arsenal, they had they got a couple of victories and then all of a sudden there's a break, you know, so it disrupts them. So for them, it was a bit of a non-starter. Man City was a good break. Obviously, they were also under pressure, came out and got a result. So, you know, for some clubs it's very good, other clubs not. If you look at some of the lowest teams, the teams are in relegation. Couple of upset results this week, so obviously came at a good time for them.
Saka, one of the more influential players out of Arsenal over the last 5 or so years. How have you felt when he's been absent this season? How much of an impact has it had on Arsenal? And now he's back, he's scoring goals at a crucial point of the season.
Well, that's one of the things, you know. He came back from injury, so obviously that's helped and worked in their favour. He's been vital to them because they don't have that out-and-out striker. I'm very surprised at them that they still haven't fixed
so many
that.
Years now, yeah.
They haven't done it. I'm not too sure why. Maybe that's just the way Arteta wants to play. But, you know, you need those type of players to come in and get the goals for you. Good that he's back from injury. I don't want people to say, no, Arsenal didn't win the league because they had players out injured, like another club that we know about.
Low blow.
They fight in relegation, but people saying they have injured players.
Low blow. Talking about the club, as a United fan, I never thought there'd be a day when I'm thinking, well, United's playing Forest. I don't know if I want to watch Forest beat United, and that's the current state of affairs out in England. And first, of course, we're very impressive against United.
Well, I never thought I'll say the day that a very good team beats a very mediocre team. Forest are a good team.
Very good team.
Man United are mediocre.
And that just sums up their season, doesn't it?
It sums up their season, sums up the way they gain. You know, I think they're going to be in trouble for the next couple of years. Financially, they had in big trouble. They can't buy players because they don't have the finances. So it's going to be an uphill battle for all Man United fans. And simple, they're going to learn the hard way, and they're going to have to turn things around. But at this stage, I don't see a great, bright future for them unless they get rid of the so-called superstars with big salaries and turn things around that way.
Brighton, Aston Villa. Now, there's a game where you're thinking, hey, this is possibly the game of the... And it's so funny how things have advanced in England, where you're thinking, Brighton, Aston Villa, that's probably the game of the week. And Aston Villa away from home win 3-0. That's an impressive result. That's sending a statement, isn't it?
Great result.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at Brighton's form and you look at their home form, they've been absolutely brilliant, you know, and you can't... I couldn't see this. I said, if anything, Villa would get a draw out at the most. But they go and wallop them 3-0. That just shows you what a good team Aston Villa are, because Brighton aren't an easy touch, you know. So a great win for them. Also, once again, keeping the pressure on for those top places in Europe.
There's one player that's been a huge talking point over, especially for us United fans, over the last 5 years, and he's come under a lot of criticism at United. He's moved on to Villa now, Rashford. Your thoughts in United Rashford, Villa Rashford? Different player?
A different
player. Yes, it's a different team, but...
It's a different player because of a different team, you know?
Yeah.
So he's been given the freedom to go out and play, enjoy. He obviously needs to get game time because he hasn't been playing. So as the games get on, you'll see he'll get better, which he has. He's got a goal now. He's a very difficult player, I think. I think he's very much one of those that if it doesn't go his way, he sulks and he doesn't want to play, you know? Yeah. So that's the problem. Overpaid? Definitely.
Yes, definitely, yeah.
But, and underperforming, that's my biggest thing with him. But he's a good player, a great player. Whether he's going to stay there, we'll know. He's only on loan, so we'll see what happens at the end of the season.
I have to talk about Liverpool. I'll come back to the likes of City and so on. But Liverpool, that's that derby against Everton. One of my favorite derbies worldwide here because it's just the passion you get in England and the commitment and so on. It's just different, that rivalry to anywhere else in the world. Liverpool, though, get it done 1-0.
And lots of crying about offside.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, if you look at the rules, it's not an offside goal. He's not interfering in play. He's coming back. The defender dives in and gets the ball, goes back. Then he's already in the onside position, plays a 1-2 and a goal, you know.
Yeah.
But one of those games where Liverpool had to bounce back. They had to get the result. No matter what they did, they had to get the result. They did. It keeps them now very much the title in their own hands. They need 13 points from a total of, there's 8 games, 24. 13 to make 100% sure. With 3 games to go in the season, their third last game comes up against Arsenal at home. It could be the title decider. How
much for sides like Arsenal and Liverpool, when you're going into the last 2 months, going into the last month, if you are to crash out of the Champions League, especially this time where you can now just focus all your attention on the league, how much does that help in the league race?
It helps the big time because now you haven't got the midweek games, you haven't got the travelling, you haven't got anything else like that. So for a team like Liverpool who are fighting for the title, it's amazing because now they just stay at home. They don't have to travel into Europe, anywhere else. Concentrate on it, get the job done, and then worry about Champions League next year. Now,
two sides that at one point in life were, well, when we talked about them at this time of the season, they were fighting for the league title, City and Leicester. Both have struggled somewhat as the years have gone on, especially for City this year. But they beat Leicester quite comfortably 2-0, and they're very much in the top 4 race. They are very much in the top 4 right now, which is quite impressive,
Yeah, very impressive. Grealish, first goal in 16 months. Can you believe it? First goal in 16 months. Also one of those players has never fulfilled his potential, you know. But anyway, we got the goal. They were without Haaland for a long while now. They're going to be out. He's out injured. So you've got to find other players to score goals. And luckily, Grealish came along. They just got to keep it going now, just to stay in. The one thing about the Premier League teams this year, looks like the top 5 going to Champions League, which would help them.
But I have to ask you this. You mentioned City goals in Haaland. Yes, Haaland can score 25, 30 a season. But to think City at this time of the year, plus 17 goal difference, whilst Liverpool at plus 43. It's a huge drop-off in a very short space of time.
It just shows you what kind of a season they've had, you know. They've struggled with injuries. I've heard this so much over the last few days. Our team struggled with injuries. I'm talking about a local team now. But anyway, these things happen. It's about life. It's about adjusting and about carrying on, you know. You just got to go with the dice, and that's it. You've got to adjust and win the games. Well, no matter what you do.
Well, it's all about winning games now, whether you're at the top, middle, or at the bottom, and we're approaching the final stretch in what's been a thoroughly entertaining season out in England. Thank you very much to Shane. Takes a short break, comes back. We talk German football a little bit later. Locally, well, we'll talk about the game here in Mzansi with Sherry on the other side of this.
Wanna bet?
You are on.
Breaking news. Goko takes a Brian's challenge to a penalty shootout.
Aziz again.
Let's go.
Brian looks confident here. What? He's completely missed it. Here comes Goko. And what a kick! She's done it! She's done the impossible! Hollywoodbets, Azisheke, let's play.
Welcome back to GameON, and well, let's switch now from out in England and focus on what's happening right here at home, our bread and butter in the way of the PSL. Jerry Skosana to help me break it down here, and it's interesting now. I'm going to top 8, but I'm in top 4. I'm in top of the table. I'm in the So Chippa United hosting Amazulu. Chippa Amazulu 2-1. When Chippa United at this stage of the season?
Thanks, for me now, on that game, I thought maybe Amazulu were going to do better, to be honest. But, I mean, Chippa is on another level. I mean, playing good football as well. And the way Batalanga Kona they want something. So it's going to be good for Eastern Cape football, when they've got a team like that. Because if you look at Chipa Maidalekaya, it's either in East London or Kebeja. There is always a lot of people following it. So Guba right to Mabe win, and then it brings a lot of support.
There was a lot of excitement at the start of the season in the potential Yamazulu to maybe reach their potential. Now that we're getting towards the end of the season, this season happened.
Aish, just like a yo-yo, man. Yeah, like a yo-yo, because somehow if you look at like from the technical team, others moving out, Tubo Vilagazi, thinking Ata maybe on his own will do better. They win some, they lose some. So for me, I thought they've got the edge on that, but I don't think they've got constantly run in this season.
Well, one side from KZN struggled on Saturday. Another had a great time in Moses Mabhida, lovely turnout and entertaining game. But Eros Banasebo and the Chiefs, out of the last 10, I think Eros have won 6 against Chiefs or 5. Chiefs has won 4, 1 draw. But they're dominating Chiefs recently.
A lot of problems there, Chiefs. Honestly, things need to be sorted out. I think most of the players there, for me, maybe people might say he's an ex-professional, he never had this opportunity of like whatever that they're getting now in terms of the remunerations. As a player, forget about how much you're getting at Chiefs, how much you're earning at Chiefs. Think of what you're putting in at Chiefs. For me, I look at all these players. If you can go through their salaries, wow. But let's look at the points at Chiefs. It's not like equal on that.
I want to talk to the two coaches as well. The exciting part about going into this game, Nabi, Mangoba Muniti. And Eros could have scored 4 or 5. Mangoba then tactically, masterclass, just these players didn't convert their chances. What did you think of it? That's how some of us saw it too.
Really, I mean, good showing, the Golden Arrows. But you'll never know, because obviously that's what happened with Mangoba when he was playing Sundowns and drawing them. Good football again, but he happened to lose the next game. But winning against Chiefs, it was a good thing. But from where I was seated watching the game on the weekend, lucky enough, I was like in Devon with Brian doing the Hollywoodbets.
Brian, just clear it up, Brian.
Yeah.
Brian.
People were talking. Like,
Spider-Man. That's not what people are thinking for game. But it's going to clear it up.
Yes. People were like, saying a lot of things about how can Chiefs let loose of Mangoba Mneti, who's on the other side doing so good, and then bring Nabi, who's not doing anything. So for me, it also rang a bell, to say maybe Chiefs should have looked at it the other way around. Because if maybe it was somebody else or a coach Alapago Chiefs, until this period now with Chiefs, the way they are not getting results, somebody would have been fired. But let's wait and see what's going to happen with Nabi.
Now, any new team in the campaign, when you're coming from a lower league, you want to have a good start. You want to have a good ending. You might struggle in the middle of the season, but could start in a pretty decent ending to the campaign. That's a big win for Makis.
No, man, Sizwe. Let's look at it this way, so simple. Bonama was a player before. I think this is what has changed the fortunes of Makesi, honestly, by moving to Seshego Stadium. That's where they are getting all the results. And I've said it in the show last week to say, if I have to give it, I'll give it to Makesi. And that's what exactly happened.
Big games happening this weekend. Big game. What more guidance of Super Sport when you consider Bagupi at the bottom of the It's a huge game.
And this season now, we are no longer talking about the teams that are going to win the league. We concentrate on teams now. Super Sport being there and all these teams being there. So it's more exciting. Let's see how it's going to fare. But I would take it as a draw for this one.
Now, tell me, when teams go and play Kaizer Chiefs, do you think there's still that fear factor? Galaxy are the next ones to make a trip to play Kaizer Chiefs. Do you think they're licking their lips or they're thinking, Chiefs, if we move hard?
You always say, Makesi, they lost, how are they going to come? But they are Makesi. Now Chiefs, I think they've fallen into that trap. Yes, Chiefs, they are just vulnerable. Sorry to use that, but it is. That's football.
I've won 3 now, yeah.
Because now, I don't know. Chiefs, when they get attacked, to me, it's like they just look open at the back. It's like they can concede goals anytime. When Chiefs attack, they're not utilizing their chances. So I don't know if it's the coaching or the players' approach. So on that one, they need to look at themselves to say, is it the technical team or the players themselves?
So big games to look forward to this weekend, and there's seriously some big games at the top, in the middle, and right at the bottom. And it'll be interesting when we come back next week to see who's struggling, who's smiling, and who's marching on in the right direction. We take a short break. We come back with another little shuffle with Jerry making way for Shane. Welcome back to GameON. Now let's talk about what's happening out in Germany as we go abroad once again with Shane McGregor. Now, again, the beauty of Germany is we are treated and spoiled by the Germans, that there's goals just about every weekend. There's never a 0-0 score, and when we do get them, we're very surprised. Another, impressive week from a goal-scoring point of view. Leverkusen with a positive 3-1 win over Bochum.
Yeah, great start for them, 3-1-1. They needed to keep the pressure on. This was on a Friday night, so they needed to keep the pressure on Bayern. Got the job done, but unfortunately for them...
Yeah, that was going there.
But you know what? One thing I do like about Leverkusen and about their team is they never say die attitude. They go out and they just keep on grinding. And that comes from the coach. He's instilled it in players. I wish a lot of other teams can look at that and say, let's base ourselves on that, But anyway.
Yeah, but the theme going to Germany, of course, is goals. Because St. Pauli go up to Bayern and they put up a proper fight. They scored 5 goals at the end of it all. They really made Bayern earn every point they got in that game,
But that's what I like about the German league. It's no easy touch. You got to go out there and get it and win it. You know what, Bayern also got to the stage of the season where they've had their ups and downs. It's a good, and it's an important victory to win, if they'd drawn, they would have dropped points and would have put Leverkusen closer, but they just know how to eke out victories, At this stage of the season, that's what it's about. It's not about how you play, it's about how many points you take home with you.
It's disheartening, though, for the Chasing team. You lost once or twice all season, and somehow you're getting it wrong. It's almost a perfect season.
Yeah, almost a perfect season, but as I say, it doesn't matter what you do, it's how you get the points. And for them, at this stage, that's what it's all about. Just staying a point in front of Leverkusen, that's what it's all about.
Dortmund and Mainz serve up another 4 goals. But Dortmund, this reminds us of the old Dortmund with Klopp back in the day, where he had a special generation of players. 3-1 wins over Mainz, who have been impressive lately and are still fighting for that top 4 spot.
Exactly, especially away from home. If you look at Mainz's results away from home, I think that's their first defeat in 6 away from home. They have been brilliant away from home, and Dortmund have been hot and cold. I think what's happened is now Dortmund, the penny's dropped. They're developing for next season. They're looking forward to next season. They have changed 1 or 2 little things around, brought 1 or 2 players in. I think it bodes well for them for next year. And that's for me now, for them. They've got to concentrate on next year. They're never going to get relegated. They must try and get in the Champions League and then just stay there and fight for next year.
Now, Mainz at home this weekend against Kiel. Again, they need to get it right, but at home, they've struggled. They're not quite as impressive as on the road, trying to get back to winning ways.
Got to get the results, At home, it doesn't matter. Home, away, you got to get those results. So if they want to be in a Champions League spot, they got to now get victories, and they have to do it somehow. Have to do it at home. Let's hope they can do something. I actually quite like them.
Yeah, Leverkusen away. They are playing against Heidenheim. And again, no matter what the story is, you just got to keep fighting till the end.
You got to fight till the end. You got to go away from home and get a result, and I'm sure they will do that. They're a good team, as I say to you. They got to never say die fighting spirit. I can't see them not getting the result there.
Because of the impressive fighting spirit against Bayern, I have to ask you about St. Pauli and Borussia Mönchengladbach quickly. St. Pauli at home this time, yeah?
Yeah, it's a hard game to call this one. I think it'll be a draw. Not a normal draw, but it'll be a draw.
Well, that's the story in what's happening out in Germany. Thank you very much to Shane McGregor as things begin to take shape going into the last couple of months of the season, or maybe I should say month and a half of the season. Thank you very much to Shane McGregor. Thanks as well to the other legend in Jerry Skosana and you at home for taking the time to join us. But before we go, Hollywoodbets does have a special video where you will find out about a young man that's doing great things as far as Gussie football. So let's waste no further time and get to meet this special young player.
My name is Kutlwano Machoro. I'm 23 years of age. I'm from the dusty streets of Brandfisher. Football is my life. It's a sport that has shaped who I am. And my love for the beautiful game is even stronger today.
The beautiful game. A sport that seems so simple to everyday people, but a sport that has its complications. Some are beautiful complications. Others can be brutal. But such is the enjoyment one gets from this amazing sport that players simply push through the hardships because for them, football is life.
I started playing football when I was 6 years old here in Brandfisher. All I could say is I give my all when I'm in the pitch. I don't play for fame.
Kutlwano's life in football hasn't been perfect, but this Easter he's hoping to have a perfect tournament at the Talanang Games, which are powered by Hollywoodbets. For Kutlwano, the aim is to get back into the professional ecosystem while dazzling football fans at Kasi and hopefully lifting the cup.
What makes them so special is that it's based in my Kasi, where I grew up, and it's developing a lot of chances and great opportunities for players abangenawo my team, and then it's for exposure also. It's a great platform because you'll never know because scouters they don't announce when they come. So what's there to be done? It's you don't play for fame. Otherwise, I'm dreaming bigger in the next 5 years. I used to see myself abroad, maybe a little, maybe 2 years in the PSL for experience. Then I would love to see myself and I would fight abroad. That's my wish, and I always pray for that.
Kutlwano's resilience is there for all to see, and it's brands like Hollywoodbets who continue to keep the dream alive for so many players across the country, thanks to their involvement in various Kasi tournaments, and their presence is truly felt.
I think it was a great exposure with Hollywoodbets, because most of the tournaments, Kasi tournaments like KwaMahlobo and Talanang Games. So for a platform in Jalo, into entle for our youngsters also.